Ethan Reeves hated blind dates. He didn't do mystery women or romantic setups. As CEO of Reeves Tech, he barely had time for sleep, let alone awkward dinners arranged by friends who thought his life was too serious. So when his best friend Liam shoved him into this one, Ethan only agreed to get him off his back. "She's amazing," Liam had said. "Kind, beautiful, smart. Just give it one evening." Ethan didn't believe in one evenings. But he still found himself walking into a small, candlelit restaurant in downtown Manhattan, loosening his tie as he scanned the tables. Then he saw her. She was sitting by the window, soft waves of chestnut hair falling over her shoulder, a light blue dress brushing her knees. She looked nervous, fiddling with the edge of the menu. When she looked up, her eyes met his, bright, cautious, yet familiar in a way he couldn't place. "Ethan Reeves?" she asked softly. He nodded, offering his hand. "That's me. And you must be Clara." She smiled politely, shaking his hand. "Clara Bennett." He sat across from her, studying her face. She didn't look like someone expecting a date. She looked like someone preparing for something much harder. Still, he tried to break the ice. "So, Liam tells me you're a friend of his?" She hesitated. "Something like that." Something about her tone made him curious, but he decided not to push. Instead, he ordered wine, cracked a small joke about blind dates, and was surprised when she actually laughed, a light, musical sound that instantly made the world feel a bit less heavy. The conversation flowed easily enough. She was gentle, thoughtful, and asked questions most people never bothered to. About his work, sure, but also about him. "Do you ever get tired of being the guy who always has the answers?" she asked at one point. He chuckled. "You make that sound like a bad thing." "It's not. Just lonely." Her honesty threw him off guard. He opened his mouth to reply, and then she looked down at her wineglass, exhaling slowly. "I should tell you something," she said quietly. Ethan frowned. "What is it?" She glanced up, her eyes glistening. "I'm not really here for a date." For a moment, his brain froze. "You're not?" Clara shook her head, her fingers tightening around the glass stem. "I'm sorry if that sounds awful. I didn't mean to lie. I just didn't know how else to see you." He leaned back, confused but intrigued. "You've lost me." Her next words came out in a whisper. "I'm just here to say thank you." Silence settled between them. The restaurant chatter faded, the candlelight flickered, and Ethan's mind raced. "Thank you," he repeated slowly. "For what?" Clara looked down, her voice trembling. "A year ago, you saved my brother's life." Ethan blinked. "I did what?" She nodded, eyes filling. "His name is Noah Bennett. He works at Reeves Tech, in your software division. He collapsed at work last year. Heart condition. Everyone panicked, but you were there. You called the ambulance. You rode with him. You made sure he got the surgery he needed." Ethan's breath caught. He remembered now, the frantic day, the fear in the office, the young man whose pulse had nearly stopped in the elevator. "I didn't know he was your brother," he said quietly. Clara smiled weakly. "He told me later that you stayed until he woke up. You gave him another chance. And me too." Her voice broke. "You don't know what that meant to us." Ethan didn't know what to say. He wasn't used to gratitude, genuine, emotional, overwhelming gratitude. He saved Noah because it was the right thing to do. But hearing it now, from her, it felt different. "How did you even find me?" he asked softly. Clara laughed through her tears. "Noah and I have this thing, we make a list of people we want to thank before the year ends. He said you were always too busy to meet anyone outside work. So I might have convinced Liam to set this up." Ethan leaned back, staring at her. The honesty in her voice, the vulnerability, it disarmed him completely. He should have been annoyed. He wasn't. Instead, he felt something in his chest shift. You could have just sent an email, he said after a moment. I tried, she admitted, smiling shyly. But it didn't feel enough. I wanted to look you in the eyes and say it properly. Ethan exhaled slowly, his heart oddly heavy. Well, you did. And, you're welcome, Clara. She nodded, visibly relieved. Thank you for not being mad. Mad? He almost laughed. You tricked me into dinner, but honestly, I've had worse dates. She chuckled softly. Still. I should go. I've said what I came to say. She began to reach for her purse, but Ethan stopped her with a quiet, wait. She froze, looking up. He smiled faintly. You came here to say thank you. How about staying so I can say you're welcome, over dessert? Her expression softened. You don't have to. I know. But I want to. Something in his tone must have convinced her, because she slowly sat back down. The night unfolded differently after that. Without the pretense of a date, they simply talked about Noah's recovery, about how Clara had moved to the city to take care of him, about her work as a teacher. She told him about how her students left sticky notes on her desk that said things like, "You're the best, Miss B," and "Please don't give us homework." Ethan found himself smiling more than he had in months. Your brother's lucky to have you, he said. Clara tilted her head. He'd say the same about you. He hesitated, then asked, would it be strange if I said I'm glad you tricked me? She laughed, a real, warm laugh that lit up her face. A little. But I'll take it. They finished dessert, chocolate mousse she insisted on sharing, and when they finally stepped outside, the night air was cool and clear. The city buzzed softly around them, but the moment felt still. So, she said, hugging her coat tighter, thank you again. For everything. For being there when you didn't have to be. Ethan looked at her for a long moment, his hands in his pockets. And thank you for reminding me why I should be. She smiled, turning to leave, but he found himself saying, Clara? She glanced back. How about next time, he said, we try this again, as an actual date? Her eyes widened slightly, then softened into a grin. Next time, I won't trick you. I'll hold you to that. And then, for the first time in a long while, Ethan watched someone walk away, not feeling the usual ache of loneliness, but something quieter. Warmer. Because he knew she'd be back. 3 weeks later. A small note appeared on his office desk one morning. It read. You once saved my brother's life. This time, you saved mine. Clara Blueheart. Attached was a single blue ticket, to the same restaurant where they first met. Ethan smiled. For once, his calendar could wait. He picked up the note, slipped the ticket into his pocket, and whispered to no one in particular, you're welcome, Clara. And when he arrived that evening, she was there, same blue dress, same soft smile, but this time, it wasn't a thank you dinner. It was the beginning of something real.